on Instagram Live. I'm a minute early. Hi, Ellen. Hey. Hey, Shannon. Hi. Hello. Hello, everybody. How are you feeling? Hey, Ty. Hey, Told Nuggets. What is that? Hey, Hector. Hey, everyone. Hey, Tara. Hey, Chelsea. Hello, hello. Patricia. Huh? I don't have it live. You don't have it live? What? Sandy said she can't get on live. That's weird. Everybody else. Oh, thank you. I look great. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Nancy Stubbs. Hey. Hey, Leanne. Amy Jo. Hey, Joe. What you doing? Hey, Michelle. Hey, everybody. You're live. Nancy said I'm live. Maybe reboot your phone. She's going to reboot. Everybody else is getting on. Tell her to close app and open back up. Oh, she's on now. Okay, Sandy's here. We can get this party started. Okay, let's see. Hey, Erica. I'm trying to look really closely to see when Mel joins. You know her. She's doing that whole late to the party cool thing because she's so cool. Hey, yep, it's working. Okay, thank y'all so much. How's everybody feeling today? I wish you could see what this looked like today. Like, it is stunning today here. It's beautiful. Annalie. Hey. Hey from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Hey, Nancy. Is it raining? Hey, Gracie. Man, everybody's here. This is so fun. I can't wait for y'all to meet Mel. She's incredible. We're going to be doing a charity. Our charity that we're giving to today is Feeding America Food Bank. I can't wait to tell you a story about how one time I went to a food bank at one point. Oh, there's Mel. Here we go. We're getting her. Okay, I did it. Okay, this is so exciting. Woo! Hey, everybody.
I wore a hat for you.
Oh my God, you look so good. Look at that.
It's the only hat I could find in the house.
Oh, it looks great. Look at you.
I'm putting on a Suzy shirt and a hat for this.
You're so
I
great.
can't believe you're not wearing one.
I know. Will you go grab me a hat? Okay, we're going to get one so we can match, okay? I'll wear one. You're so great.
And are you wearing a robe?
Yeah, I'm wearing
I almost wore a robe instead of this shirt because I thought the most Suzy thing that I own is the design on the robe that I have in my bathroom. And then I thought I actually should just put on a pair of pants and a shirt and get my shit together.
Yeah, you know, I'm actually excited that I get to dress up.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
I know. I feel like, oh, yay, I get to dress up like I'm going somewhere fancy or doing something. Well, I am. I'm on with Mel Robbins. I mean, hello.
Well, as somebody who doesn't wear a hat, so I got to say, it's very strange to have a hat on. Although, oh, see, that's one of my favorite ones of yours. Although the yellow one is the one that is the money hat.
That's the Tressa Foglia.
The who?
Tressa. I'll introduce you.
I don't know what that means. Is that a desire? You're way too fancy for me. I don't know. Tressa Foglia? I wouldn't even know how to spell that, for crying out loud.
I'll introduce you to her. She's great.
I would love that.
She actually gave me that hat. She was like, I want to make you a hat. And I'm like, do it. We'll get her to make you a hat.
I would love that. I'm very self-conscious in this, but I'm going to go with it.
You're so great. You look adorable.
Thank you.
You're so great.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm in LA still.
Oh, you are?
I'm in LA quarantine. It's pretty nice. Yeah.
Beats Boston. There's no question, because it rained here most of the week. It was a very low week for me, I have to say. So I'm very happy to be talking.
Oh, good. What was going on? Just the rain and.
Well, and I think that this is I think important for everybody to understand, is that this, as you navigate this, you're going to go up and down and up and down and up and down, and it just was raining here, and there's a lot of stuff going on in my work life that has to get sorted out. And we're entering week 4 of quarantine here as a family. And I think it was like super adrenaline driven the first week. And then it became like, let's make this a project. And then week 3 was, okay, I hate all of you. I can't believe we're related. I want to kill you all. And then the week 4, I started off by basically feeling like, are you fucking kidding me? We're going to be in this for months? Oh my God. So I kind of had that resignation, hating my family. I'm done trying to turn this into some project or retreat. And I got shit to figure out in terms of the way business is changing. And then there was somebody in our life who died from COVID.
Really?
It was the father of a friend of one of my kids. Yeah, devastating. And
No.
I think when it really, I mean, look, you can watch the news and we're all worried about our family, but when you have it kind of inch closer and closer and closer to you in terms of it being just 1 degree of separation away, it really hits home.
Yeah.
Just how important it is that we all stay home and how serious of a situation this is. Not that we don't know that intellectually, but I think spiritually and in your heart, until something impacts you personally, it's not real. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's real because you go to the grocery store and you see the stuff on the news, but, and you and I talk a lot about change this way too, that people only change when it becomes personal. You can throttle people, you can pressure them, you can guilt them. None of that works. Beg them, not threaten them. Yeah, none of that works. People only change when the change becomes personal. Yeah. And so, anyway, it was, and look, I mean, I've had other weeks where I've been like super annoyingly positive, but this is what one of the opportunities of this moment is to really start to develop emotional resilience as a skill, which is your ability to cope with all the uncertainty and how distressing this situation is, and not lose your emotions, not lose your responses, not lose your mind, and to really just keep coming back to the practices that keep you grounded. Yeah. So that's what I've been doing actively, but I'm climbing out of it. I think that the sunshine outside of Boston, Massachusetts has helped a lot too.
Well, that's got to be hard. I mean, so what practices keep you in line? I know my practices, but.
Well, if I'm being honest,
wine.
Animals, yep. Animals have been very helpful. It's been a mix. I'm looking to see. Oh, my children have probably taken it from by children. I mean, my college age kids have come in here and they've robbed me of my Adderall and my edibles. So this is helping me a lot because allergies. A little bit of Flonase. Yeah. I take a Baraka every morning, which is Suzy's cringing. She's like, "What? I need to send you some vitamin, girl." No, seriously, I've been
the Flonase did get me a little bit. I'm listening to a neti pot with some rosemary and tea tree oil in it, but it's okay.
I'm really bad allergies. So I have really bad allergies, and I think also part of the challenge of being in the spring right now is you don't know, is the postnasal drip and the stuffiness and the cough that I'm feeling my hay fever or my allergies. And so taking a Zyrtex or using some Flonase has been super helpful because it treats those symptoms. And then I'm like, okay, I'm okay. Deep breath. So what are my practices? Well, number one, I think it's all the foundational shit. Are you laughing at me?
Somebody just wrote steam oranges.
Steam oranges? How do you do that?
I don't know, and I don't know how you steam orange. What do you do with it? We'll have to
talk to us. I immediately saw myself sticking an orange in a microwave and having some bad experiment where it explodes.
You're so funny.
But so my practice is, this is the interesting thing about right now. There are so few things that work.
Yeah. And
there are just a few things that work. And that's why when you look at all the advice, whether it's coming from you or coming from me or coming from somebody with a PhD, it's all the same. Yeah. In a moment of tremendous chaos, you have to hack certainty. because it gives you emotional safety. And so the things that have been keeping me grounded are a routine. So making sure, Suzy, that I get up at 6:15 every morning, no matter what. And the next thing is moving my body. So I'm so grateful for the number of people that are streaming classes online, because I'm one of these people that I don't exercise unless somebody's chasing me or screaming at me.
Me too.
And so I need a class. I've never had a home yoga practice. I'm not that kind of person. Even though I've practiced yoga for 20 years, I have never done it at my house. And so it has been life-changing to be able to take classes. So I make myself move every single day. I have been staying really kind of busy with work, which is both a good and a bad. But I've adjusted my expectations, which have helped a lot. So again, wake up at a certain time, exercise every day, lowering my expectations for how much I can get done. And the other big thing that's been super helpful for me is we have family dinner every night. And every night at family dinner, if we don't FaceTime somebody, we typically have some sort of something that we talk about among the 5 of us. And it's been really, really cool. And then, of course, I take my edible. Night, night. You know,
At what time do you take the edible?
I
in this routine
take it as I'm cooking, like around 5. As I start thinking about dinner, I take my little weed edible, and it's wonderful because it kind of kicks right in at dinner time, which means I'm not downing a bottle of wine. I feel nice and buzzed. And the nice thing about an edible I've noticed is that I get a nice buzz going. And unlike alcohol, I don't need to, when I have a drink, I feel like I want a second one. I do not feel that way with weed. So, and it's legal here in Massachusetts. What time do I go to bed? I go to bed pretty early. I don't know, like between 9 and 10, unless we're doing a movie marathon. And then I'll stay up with the kids. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing about the same. I'm getting up, not as early as you, but about 7. No, I'll be getting up at 6:30. Yeah. So I've been working out with my trainer from 7 to 8. I have 2 different.
Now, is that virtual or are they
virtual
with you? Okay.
No, virtual. So because I know them and I know I can't skip it. So there's this accountability buddy I have.
And what is your workout? What do you do?
Yep. So 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do HIIT training, more, strength, kind of fast, kind of like a CrossFit type training. And then 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do, it's called the movement standard. And it's just kind of like body movement, just yoga, jiu-jitsu-ish kind of stuff, just to keep my body and everything flowing. Yeah. And then I've been doing breakfast, and oh my gosh, I showed people the other day, like my walls are full right now of just.
I saw that. You sent me that in a text messages. What are you doing on those?
I've been really doing a deep dive into who I am. What do I want? What can I own? What do I fear? And I'm looking at, I'm 55. And I'm looking at really using this pause and what do I want to do for the next 20 years of my life? I feel like the world, God, the universe, someone's given us this amazing time out. And it's like, what am I going to do during that time out? And so I'm deciding to go inside and kind of really readjust, like what is really, with you, I'm sure I have so many opportunities coming at me. It's just such a blessing and incredible. And I want to do them all. And then I go, you know what? I don't want to live the next even 5 years the way I've lived the past 20, running like a freaking rat on a hamster wheel. Even though I do things that are alive and exciting, it's like I need to be able to prioritize really what impact I want to have in the world. So that's what I've been doing, is really going deep inside. Oh, I've been doing something super fun that I'm doing another session on Monday. I've been doing ketamine therapy.
What the hell is that? Well, before we talk about ketamine therapy, I don't even know what that is. And for those of you who have no idea what an edible is, it is marijuana. Okay. Marijuana. It is devil's lettuce. That's it. And in some states, not all of them, but in some states in the United States, we have gotten wise, and you can buy them. Yes, so and so you can
every state needs to be.
Yeah, every state needs to, and so you can mince and brownies, whatever. And so I like the mints. But so can I just back up a little bit? Because
Yep.
I think we're all wondering, especially with your wild success, Suzy. So when you look at Supernatural, when you look at Poopery, when you think about this next concept of Alive Ideas and all the things that you're doing, you have had tremendous success creating.
Yes.
Can you explain, if we wanted to take this process that you're doing of going in, because all I see is that you've wallpapered this house with large Post-it notes where you have written things on them. Is this something that you do while you're high? Is this something that you do while you're sober? Is this something that you do in the morning? Are other people there? Is music playing? How do you start and what are you writing on these pieces of paper?
Oh, you're so good. You're such an expert interviewer. You're so great. And it's supposed to be the other way around, Missy. But anyway, she's so good. She can't help herself.
I'm really curious about, I'm like actually curious, because when you started saying you're going to figure out the next 20 years and you got this whole thing and you got these Post-it notes and you're going in, I'm like, what do I do? I stick the orange in the microwave and then I go and I get a Post-it note. Okay.
Steam the orange, and that's the end of it. So I'm not high. I've actually been sober for about 9 months, and I'm really loving it. It's weird. I have this weird sense of clarity.
Like no microdosing, nothing.
Well, no, I do microdose.
Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about when I say an edible.
No, I microdose psilocybin, so mushrooms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm microdosing psilocybin. I do that 4 days on, 3 days off. But it's like if you were getting high on mushrooms, you do like probably 3.5 grams. I microdose 0.02 grams every day.
Oh, wow.
So like a 20th of what? So it really.
Do you even notice anything happening?
No, it does really help with anxiety. So I think that's the reason. I feel less anxious since I've been sober than I ever have.
Wow.
And I think that's probably because of microdosing.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. I can send you the recipe. Paul Stamets has a thing where he has a lot of research. He just filed a patent on this protocol. So if anybody wants it, I'll post it.
I'm writing down names of hats and protocols.
Yeah. Paul Stamets is amazing. I will text you this and let everybody know online.
You're amazing. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so I don't mean to be
nope.
like
I love this.
Cavalier, or I'm not making fun of it. Like, I'm actually curious, because you are one of the most free people that I've met, and the most curious and adventurous and courageous people that I've met. And so I have no idea what your process might be. For all I know, you've got some like dance mix on and you're doing this in a bikini. I have no idea.
That sounds fun. Actually, what I have is I usually have someone asking me questions and guiding me through, because it's hard for me to get out of myself. And I first started with everything I fear. So we started with what all do I fear? And literally, I have a whole page of just fear. And what else do you fear? 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 So we just broke down every one of those, or wrote down every one of those fears, there's probably 40. And I could probably post this all. That'd be great. And then we went through and started dissecting every one of those fears and how that's true. And then once I would be like, well, that's really not true.
What do you mean how that's true? What does dissecting it mean?
I'm trying to think. I can't see where my fears are right there. Like I fear that I'm not smart. Like, it was one of those things. I'm not really smart. I just saw this written on a board. And my friend here was like, so are you smart? And I'm like, I actually am smart. I'm actually really smart. I built a business. I've done this. So then we were making a list of things that I own, right? So it's literally like flipping those fears from, this really isn't a fear. It's just some psychological bullshit going on. And then actually I can own it. So then out of that, I derived a thing that I actually can own, and then things I can claim. And then I started looking at ones that I really want to step out into, that I value the most, to be able to put a stake in the sand. For example, I can own transformation like a motherfucker. right?
Yes,
It's
you
like
can.
I have transformed myself over and over and over again. So through this process, I realized like I can own transformation, man. And this is something I can talk about. I value. I want to teach more in the world. So I just kept doing this process over and over again until I really, and then, oh, the hardest part was what I desire. My
Why was
friend
that the
said, he goes,
hardest?
I've taken, it just is because he said, you know, I've taken so many men through this. And mine was like, I desire for everyone in the world to know they can create any life they want. I desire for us all to be happy and live in joy. You know, I desire 2 pages of that, Mel, before I got to what do I want. He looks at me and he goes, do you want to be a billionaire? And I was like, like what? So then I made a whole life. Like, I want to be a multi-billionaire. There you
Why
go.
the hell not?
I want to harness technology to help humanity. I want to create a portal to elevate and transform human consciousness. So then I just started rolling with everything that I want. I want a lover. I want a mate. I want houses where I can create respites for my family and friends to come to. So I started just rolling with these things. And then once I have these lists, now I'm going back and circling which ones really are like my cornerstones for like, you know, I'm going into things, you know, like there's people that want to do stories on my life and things. And it's like, what are my values? What can I own? And then what do I desire? How do those fit together? So for me, it's helping me come up with a plan whenever I'm going in those meetings. I know where I stand more.
That's
Rather than,
amazing.
yeah, rather than, oh, this is a great idea. You're a famous person. You want to make a story of my life. This is great. You know, it's like, really, what do I want that story to be? Where do I stand? It doesn't matter who you are. Thank you so much for your interest. So that's what I'm doing during this time of kind of finding, not kind of, but I'm finding that inner place within me where I can like really and say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no to opportunities much easier.
That's incredible. I
Yeah.
love it.
So that's what
It
I've
doesn't
been.
sound like something I should do with my husband, though, meaning I should have a different guide because I would imagine that some of my shit is like not shit, but it's more that like the people that you love that you're in partnership with
Oh, yeah, no.
and have a story and a history with, you probably limit each other's desires and you limit your ability to think even bigger. You know what I'm saying?
I would think so for sure. Yeah, I would get someone out. You could even do it virtually. You know, you could even do it virtually. But for me, that's what I realized is I am a free spirit. I am an explorer, which is so great. It's gotten me a lot of places. But right now I have more opportunity coming through that I can't, how I started getting a little lost with, you know, and, you know, you can get very egoic. Like, oh my gosh, this person wants to do a movie about my life. This is incredible. Or a series and it's on Netflix. And it sounds really great until I go, well, hold on, what's it going to be about? And what, like I really dig into the deep part of myself and go, why am I doing this? Why is my story even being told? I went through a lot of that.
Right.
So, yeah, so it's really been a process kind of a rebirth, you know, kind of
Awesome.
like, okay, I literally said, maybe I should just sell the rights to Suzy Batiz so that I can start living my life now.
Oh.
Yeah. Looking at those old patterns of who Suzy Batiz was and then who do I want to be now? You know, like really, that's kind of a persona in a way. So I've been really looking really seriously hard at that. And not Suzy Batiz as in branding, because I'm very clear I don't want to be a brand.
Right.
But just how I was operating and, you know, what I stood for. And now I'm finding firmer ground in where I stand and what I'm interested in. And it's helping me with my yeses and nos a lot.
Sounds awesome.
I know. So that's my process.
Okay, ketamine therapy. What is ketamine therapy?
Okay. So ketamine is, I don't even know what it is. It's a drug. It's a horse tranquilizer. And it is, I know. No, it's legal. It's legal in a therapeutic use. So lots of kids do party with it. I've never done, I did MDMA once, like 30 years ago as a drug and puked and that's it. So I don't do any drugs recreationally. I do them for therapy or some sort of personal transformation. But ketamine is a dissociative, and it actually just, I swear it just fixes your brain. I can post some research on it online, but basically I'm doing this, this guy, I call this guy, and I was going to fly him into LA, and he's he's an MD research doctor. And I said, you know, I want you to come. I want to do this ketamine therapy. One of my friends who's a trauma specialist told me how effective it is. And there's tons of science about how it actually changes your brain, especially for attachment issues and relationship. Are you familiar with attachment therapy?
Oh, of course.
Anxious attachment. Yeah. So I just ended a relationship where I discovered I'm an anxious attachment. And my friend said ketamine therapy is the best for getting, you know, solving that problem. So I call this guy and he says, well, we're in quarantine now. Would you be interested in pioneering telesessions? And Mel, he had me at the word pioneer, right?
Of course.
I'm like,
I bet you even have a hat for that.
Exactly. I'm like, yes, I want to pioneer these sessions. So anyway, tomorrow's my third. I swear my brain changed. Like 80% of my attachment stuff went away after the first session. It's like 2 hours. There's no hangover. No.
So what do?
You take the ketamine, and they use ketamine on babies as anesthesia. But this is like a sixth of the dose you would use for anesthesia. So it's a dissociative. So you just take it. This is a lozenge. If they were in person, they would inject it into your muscle, but because I'm not in person. So they're on Zoom. I have an MD doctor and a therapist, both on Zoom. I take the ketamine, and then I just go on this inward kind of 2-hour journey. I set an intention, and then I come out, and we talk for about 30 minutes about what happened. And then the next day, I have a therapy session with one of them to kind of unpack everything. But it's incredible. So I'm excited to be pioneering it. I'm a huge fan. I think everybody should do it. I know my ex-husband's getting ready to do it. My son's getting ready to do it.
Wow.
I was talking with a friend this morning. She's like, I want to do it. I'm a fan of psychedelics in therapy because I do believe it gets us out of ourselves enough so that we can actually heal. So I'm an explorer pioneer. It's like, let's go. What do I need to do?
Well, I once heard somebody say that you can't fix something that you didn't talk yourself into by trying to talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
That it takes something disruptive in order to make this brain jump switch thing. You know, I just want to address a bunch of the comments because I see a bunch of our, I think my fans on.
Yeah.
And they're asking who you are. So Suzy's a very good friend of mine. And she also, you will know her because she is the founder of Poopery and Supernatural, which is a all natural cleaning line where don't you like donate all the profits to funds for Mother Earth or something like that?
We plant trees. Yeah. For every time you fiber. Yeah.
And so she is really, really, really special person and one of my favorite people on the planet. And I wore a hat today because every time I see Suzy, she's one of those people that rolls into a room and all eyes go right on her because she's not only stunning, but she literally has like an aura that travels with her. And I think that she wears a hat in order to kind of keep that aura tucked down so that it's not like too tall. That way she can get through the doorway.
You're so funny. It protects my crown chakra.
Yeah, she's the queen of transformation. That's right. That's right. She is indeed.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Well, I mean it. I don't hand out compliments but gratuitously.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same about you. I knew when I first met you, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I love this woman. I remember hearing the 5-second rule. I called everyone. You know, I have a whole posse. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. You have 5 seconds before your mind starts going to talking yourself out of it, okay? It's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That helped everybody I know, it helps. How can the 5-second rule be helping now? I text you a little bit about negativity because I notice there are people and it's easy to get, I don't watch the news. I haven't listened to any of the media because I'm too easily influenced. but I have enough people that tell me, so I don't miss out on anything. I don't feel like, you know, it's like people tell me what I need to know, and it's like, okay, we're in quarantine
Right.
until May 20th now. Okay, great, thank you, you know, so I don't have to put myself through that energy. But there's a lot of people, you know, you had some really horrible information, and that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking
Right.
about is the fear talk, you know, the like, oh my God, what if we're this way forever?
Let me show
And
you something.
Bill Gates did it, and we're all going to be vaccinated, and which
Hold on,
can
I'm
be
going to
true.
try to do something here that I don't know. Let me see if I can do something. Okay, because I gotta do an arts and crafts project real quick, everybody. So bear with me, because if I hold this up right now the way that it is, Instagram will not. Well, Instagram reverses everything. So let me just do something real quick because I want to show you.
She's going to do an art project backwards.
I am. Shit, I don't know. Oh, this is going to work because I can just trace it backwards. Okay, everybody, let's see if this. Okay. Well, one of the things that I'm really excited about is how many medical professionals I have spoken to, and I just did a live stream this week. The most important one I think that we've done since this has happened, with a nurse that works in a COVID-19 ICU unit in New Jersey.
Wow.
And first of all, she was incredibly uplifting. But she explained that she had been using the 5-second rule, like so many of us do, to count backwards, which is the method. Just count backwards from 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, as a way to push through any excuse or fear or negativity or whatever that is stopping you from doing something. Or you can use the countdown method 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 if you're managing sobriety, if you have a propensity to snap at your kids or whatever, and you're trying to pull yourself away from negative behavior. Yes. But she explained that there are so many moments throughout her day as a ICU nurse in a COVID unit in a hospital right now, where there is terror or exhaustion or tremendous sadness, because one of the things that we don't think about is that in this situation, most family members are not able to go with their loved ones to the hospital. And so nurses and docs and, you know, everybody that's working in the field are having to serve an even greater role in terms of being a lifeline to families, because you're not even in the hospital. Yeah. And so the burden emotionally is tremendous. And she said, what I realized is that this little method of counting backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that there is a 5-second difference between holding it together and losing it.
Ooh.
And that when you start to count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the act of counting begins a commitment that you're going to hold it together.
Yeah.
And she says, I use it all day long to keep myself grounded, to keep myself from losing it. Now, back to your question about negativity. Hopefully when I hold up my art project, this is going to work.
I can't wait to see it.
And oh my God, it worked. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I'm a genius.
You did that backwards?
Well, I wrote it the right way first, and then I flipped it over, and then so I wrote it this way. So if I wrote it the normal way, this is what you would see, right?
Yeah.
But I could see the lines through the cardstock, so I just retraced it on the back side. So when I hold it up on Instagram, it actually works.
You are so
because I'm using the selfie camera. That's why everything is reversed. So when it comes to negativity, I want everybody to understand we're facing two kinds of negativity, external and internal. And so we're going to talk about this one first, external. So external negativity is relatively easy. Turn off the news. You don't actually need to turn on the news until September, because every day on the news, what it's going to say is people are dying. The virus is contagious. You know, the people in office are not doing the job we want them to be doing. And we don't have a vaccine yet. and please stay home. That's the news between now and September. Good night. Goodbye. So turn off the news. Be super mindful of editing your social media feeds right now, because everything in your social media feed should be for you. If there is somebody that's annoying, that's triggering for whatever reason, you still love them. I felt this way about a lot of celebrities, honestly, when this all started to happen, that there seemed to be a little bit of a tone deafness of seeing people in their like humongous estates going, just stay here, you know, to everybody.
Yeah.
It's calmed down a lot. But so I noticed there were a lot of accounts that normally I find people hilarious. And I'm like, I just can't take this right now. And so edit your social media feeds, mute people. You know, your uncle who does not have a medical degree, who's suddenly become the expert on the way that COVID-19 has mutated. Don't need to hear from you right now. No. So that's super important. That's the external stuff, right? Yes. And so you got to really manage that, who you're around, your boundaries, information. Then you got the internal negativity. And this you've got 100% control over. There will be days where you get bad news. Yes. You got to let yourself feel that. There will be things that trigger you to think something negative. The biggest moment, one of the biggest moments of despair that I had, Suzy, is being pulling up to Trader Joe's, and there was a long line of people standing 6 feet apart and wearing masks. And it was the first time I had seen access to a store rationed. And I just felt this tremendous moment of despair. And I think it's really important for everybody to realize you're grieving the loss of your old life right now. Yeah. And you're grieving the loss of your independence, and you're grieving the loss of everything that's gotten canceled, and you're grieving the loss of everything that you can't do, and all the people you can't see, and all of the fact that we don't have answers, and the goalpost is going to keep moving. And so it's going to happen. So you got to feel what you're feeling. Otherwise, you're going to bury it and it's going to eat you alive. But what you really need to manage right now, and this is your original question about negativity, is you should have a zero tolerance policy for your own negativity. Ooh. And when you have a negative thought, and the negative thought, I don't want my kids to hear this one. my negative thought right now, for real, is holy shit. Are these kids going to go back to college in September?
I bet.
Well, no, like for real. Because if they can't test these kids, how the fuck are they going to get 10,000 kids on a campus? How are they? I mean, a dorm room, a dormitory is basically a cruise ship that doesn't move.
Yeah, exactly. A cruise ship.
So it started to occur to me, fuck. They could be here. Why do they gotta go back to school? So I literally, I've had that thought pop into my mind, right? Because we've all adjusted to the normal of no graduation. Yeah. A lot of programs and internships and jobs are canceled. Yeah. And they're here, which I feel grateful for because they're safe. But when I think about that, I've been thinking a lot. Like, that's the internal negative thought. So when I have that thought, I will not. Here's how it works with negativity, everybody. You have to catch yourself before the thought starts to spin and grow. It's like, stop washing the same load of laundry. Yes. Okay. We ran it through the cycle once. Fuck, these kids are going to be here. No college in September. Fuck. But that's the negative thought, right? Yeah. And then you go, I use the 5-second rule. I just count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, because it interrupts the spinning and the rumination and the worrying. Yes. That starts to snowball. And then I do one of two things. I either use what I call an anchor thought, and I'll give you an example of one in a minute, or I use a mantra. I don't need to worry about that right now. Yeah. If it happens, we'll deal with it. Yeah. And that cuts it off, because saying don't worry about it doesn't work. And that's not going to happen. That doesn't work because it invalidates your worry. So now your mind is going to argue for it. Oh, saying I don't need to worry about that right now. It's April, whatever, 11, 12, 11. It's April 11th today.
Yeah.
I don't need to worry about September right now. I need to worry about April 11th. That's it.
Yeah.
And it disappears it. The way that you use an anchor thought is this way. Think about the thing you're most excited to do when the curve is flattened and when people can go back to life where you can be in big groups and you can go do the things that you want to do and you can travel freely. What is the thing, Suzy, that you're the most excited to go do when that is available to all of us?
Yeah, I'm excited to see my kids. I mean, they're in Dallas to have a family dinner. I'm excited you get to have a family dinner.
Okay, awesome.
I wouldn't want to be quarantined with my children either.
Well, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why being quarantined with your children is really tough. If you have teenagers and young adults or, you know, kids your age that are a little bit older, and you've got, you know, you're how old's your youngest?
26.
Okay. So, you know, in young adults still,
yeah.
What happens is this is a loss of independence.
Yes. For both of you.
Yes. But for them primarily, because this is a moment in their life where they're creating their life. They've just escaped your ass. They are out of the house. And now they've been clawed back in and they're stuck with you. And so you represent everything that they're angry about because now they're back in the childhood home. And so even if you're not a micromanager, even if you're not bickering at your kids all the time, anything you say is a reminder that they're not back at their apartment. They're not back at the dorm. They're not able to be with their friends. And their frustration is aimed at your ass. And so it's really hard. And look, I mean, your perspective is based on the experiences that you have. And so if you're a young adult, you don't have the same experiences that we have. So perspective is really difficult to grasp. And their whole world right now has just died. The whole world has just died in terms of everything that they love and dream about. And they don't see a different future right now. And so back with you, worst nightmare, which means you're the one that is going to get all the anger. But so in terms of anger, yeah, it's a lot.
I'm sweating. I'm not even in that situation. I'm sweating right now thinking about it.
Well, you know what's helped me a lot? Because I went through again, week 1 was all adrenaline and get here and wash your hands and hypervigilance, and you still have to have that. And week 2 was, let's turn this into a project, which only annoys everybody. And then week 3 was sort of like, holy shit, this is the new normal, and trying to have everybody develop their own routine. But I've completely given up the little nagging piece of, do you have to leave your dish in the thing? You know, I haven't gone upstairs 3.5 weeks. I don't even want to see what the second floor of this house looks like right now.
No
I don't
need.
give a shit if they don't.
You can worry about that later. I can worry about that later.
Completely. Right? And so it's what's great though is that any reminder of could you pick this up, could you do this, reminds them that they have no independence right now. So I've dropped all of that.
Yes.
And I'd rather do dishes all day than deal with a teenager that's snarky and aiming it at me. And it's made a huge difference. So back to anchor thoughts. If you know, you have this vision of being able to be all together as a family because you're not quarantined with your adult kids right now. My anchor thought, because after the daytime talk show stopped taping, I was going to take 2 weeks off and go see my parents, and I wasn't able to go. And so I am most looking forward to going to Michigan, Western Michigan, which is where I grew up, and going and seeing my parents, and also going to the state park, Suzy, where is right by my house. And and so what I've done, and this is how you utilize an anchor thought, get a photo of your whole family at dinner. This is literally, I got it on Google. This is the state park, North Muskegon, Michigan. That's the sand dune right there by the parking lot. I'm going to cut down, and I leave this as an anchor thought in my office right above my computer, because what happens is when I start to feel negative, when I start to feel sad, when I start to like have that thought about, holy shit, what's going to happen to the business when every single speech has been canceled? What's going to happen, you know, to when am I going to get back to doing programming? What am I going to do? Your thoughts start to drift like a boat that is not anchored down.
Yeah.
The current of negativity takes it away from its mooring. And so you can use the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, to redirect yourself back to the anchor. And the anchor is this visual that reminds you that this is temporary.
Yes.
That better days are ahead.
Yes.
And that helps me tremendously to come back to the opportunity that this is, whether it's the opportunity to slow down or the opportunity to go inward like you're doing and to figure out what the next 20 years of your life is like, or the opportunity to take on a creative project that you don't have time for, but you have time now because you're not commuting and you're not, you know, and again, you know, all of this takes into account that your safety and that your health is okay.
Yes.
And that you are able to buy food and to pay rent. And, you know, when you can take care of those fundamental needs, you can focus on turning this into a period of not post-traumatic stress, but post-traumatic growth. And that there's an opportunity to grow here. And, you know, I think that even if you're in a very stressful situation, Suzy and I have both been there. Suzy's had what? How many bankruptcies? I mean, like, didn't you go bankrupt? I mean, 2 bankruptcies Suzy has had before she founded Poopery. She and yes, for those of you that don't know her, that's that spray. They have the best commercials on the planet that you spray into your toilet. Wildly successful entrepreneur she is. And 11 years ago, we were $800,000 in debt. I was unemployed, hugely depressed and anxious, drinking too much. And we were about to lose everything, facing bankruptcy. And so we have both been in those situations where you are financially distressed. And there's other than a health issue, there's nothing more oppressive than not knowing how you're going to buy food or pay your rent. And so we have lived that. And if you can get yourself to make sure you're fed and your family's safe and you have a place to be, now you have the capability to start to think about how you can grow. And honestly, having a positive mindset is only going to help you if you're in a distress situation, because it'll help you see opportunities and it'll help you problem solve.
Yeah, that's it. You know, speaking of the not eating, when I saw that you wanted to support Feeding America, like, I was so happy and so touched and really, you know, tuned in. And I've thought about it quite a few times of people that don't have access right now to food, kids, right? That don't have access to, like, I want to cry right now, those like school lunches, you know? Yeah, and I just wanted to say, like, I actually went to a food bank once. I've always worked, and even though I filed bankruptcy, I was able to keep food on the table because I was hustling 2, 3 side jobs. But one time my transmission went out on my car. This is one of those moments, right? That, you know, I'm living right at the line. My transmission goes out. I can't feed my kids. And I remember how, you know, how humbling it was. And I was embarrassed. And I went to a food bank and I thought, if they can just help me with food this week, then I can, you know, make it till I get my next check. And I go in there, and it's so funny. It's so emotional. I help food banks too, like personally, and they told me that I can't get food because I had a job. And I was like, I know, I just need help just this one time, right? And they would not give me anything. And I was like, what is wrong with this system, right? Because I was working and doing as much as I could. It's just I had this unfortunate circumstance. So whenever you wrote that, it touched me deeply. I was like, yeah, Feeding America, all these, you know, who knows about these kids. Another thing I've thought about are also people that are in a domestic violence situation, you know, and I've been in a marriage like that. You know, I had to escape a marriage like that, and thinking that they're right now home with those people. So, you know, sometimes I just, like, yeah, I can just sit and cry, you know, thinking, okay, this is really happening. You know, there's some people out there really, really, really suffering, and feeling that fully, feeling my own self being in not that same situation, but feeling some version of what they may be experiencing, and realizing how much even probably harder it is than even that. Because I had the opportunity to drive to a food bank, right? I had the opportunity to drive away from my house, you know, or try to plot away. But what happens when that's taken away? Like, it seems like it's sort of like, you know, exponential, the challenges. So I've just been sending everybody love and light, knowing that this post-traumatic growth, that, you know, you can get out of those situations. I love the tools you shared with us. All of those tools are so freaking important. You need every one, man. That's why I love you so much. I remember listening to like Zig Ziglar and Les Brown and all those guys back then. They were all freaking men, which that's why I love you. It's like, yeah, go Mel. It's like, but every one of those, you know, I used to listen to the, you know, cassette tapes in my car, you know, of these guys, but they were like little life rafts, you know, that I could just hold my nose above water. And so I love what you say, that reduce the negativity, put more positivity in, because each one of those can just keep you just a little above the surface, you know, to where you can just keep moving and going on and going along.
Yeah. And it's not about, look, it's not about, you know, it's not about literally putting icing on a pile of shit. That's not what I'm talking about.
No.
I'm talking about, positivity as a mindset strategy. Because if you allow your mind to start going down the negativity path, you are not going to be able to problem solve. You are not going to be able to see opportunities. Your mood is going to suck, and you are going to drag people down with you. And you are going to compromise your own health and your own immune system, because you are going to be compounding the stress that you're already feeling. And so if there is one thing that you could manage, it is manage your mind.
I love that. And I also love that you can give yourself, one strategy I have is to give myself a certain amount of time to feel a feeling. You know, like literally my friend Sandy here, when I broke up with my boyfriend at the beginning of, before the quarantine started, but I literally was out stomping out on the ground. Like, I just had anger. It wasn't particularly at him. I was just angry. So it's just like, really, I was stomping and yelling. I thought the neighbors were going to say something, but I love just letting that out. You know, they're like, oh God, she's renting this house. You know, we got some crazy next door. But also letting that feeling out and process, in combination with going, okay, I'm going to do this now. You know, you don't sit around and do that all day long, but giving myself a time slot. Okay, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to let it go and let it roar.
Yeah.
And then also with the strategy of watching the thoughts and stopping them. It's genius. I love what you do in the world. I love what you teach us. Like, you're so freaking smart. I tell everyone, I'm like, Mel is so, you know, she used to be an attorney. She's so smart.
Don't hold it against me, dear God.
You are one of the most strategic.
I work for legal aid.
You're so cute. You are one of the most strategic people that I know. And that's what I love, is where you have taken your incredibly developed, fine-tuned strategic mind and put it towards personal growth and motivation. That is freaking genius alone, because it's not just like, oh, let's all be happy. It's no, here's some hardcore tools and strategy about how to do that. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think what again, we're both the poster women for how you can meet a moment in time that feels like it's going to just bury you alive and come out of it stronger because of it. And, you know, I didn't set out to do any of the stuff that I did. I had to learn the things that I now teach to save my own life. And that is why it's easy for me to talk about it and make it so simple, because I don't, anything that takes too much time or energy, I'm not going to stick to. And so I've had to figure out the simple hacks that work in terms of helping you take steps to change your life.
Yeah, it's so important. And I love what you said. Like, you changed your life. Someone else
Yeah.
did, and someone can say something. They can inspire you. They can do whatever, but all of that effort has to come from inside you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I could change everybody. God knows I've got my 10,000 hours in trying.
It's not your job.
It's not my job, and I was worn out and exhausted, you know. It's like, why don't they change? And realizing that my job is actually inside here. What can I do right now? Man, you're such a blessing. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank
Um,
you.
any last things? Where can we see you? Where's Mel now?
I just follow me on social media. I mean, we put everything there. We got all kinds of cool stuff in the works. Everything's on social media. Or you can go to our newsletter list. We have 500,000 people on our newsletter list. But here's the thing. Don't expect a newsletter.
Here's
I am
You can
dyslexic
join it, but you're not going to get
and
one.
ADD, but I got nothing to sell you. And I am so kind of overwhelmed with my own shit and getting through the day without screaming at the people that I call my family, that I have not written a newsletter in a month. So if it's crickets, there's nothing wrong. You're in the right place. But eventually I will get back to it. But no, just follow me online. We put out a live broadcast every weekday at noon, but you can see it's on every single social media platform. So you can see it at anytime.
Yeah. Okay, good. I have an idea. I'm going to text you later, but I feel so excited you're in the world. I love the way you operate. I love what you're doing for people and humanity. And like, seriously, I'm just so touched. I know where you've been, or I don't know intimately, but I know those situations, and to pull your ass out. You know, one thing this morning, I was like, I pulled my ass out of a lot of situations. Like, that takes a lot of courage and willpower and freaking strength. Like, that's the truth, right? And you did that too. And you keep doing it.
Yes. And we're going to have to keep on doing it. I mean, look, you're looking at a woman who just lost her talk show. I just lost my, a bunch of speeches. I just lost the 130 people that I worked with on the talk show. I just had Houghton Mifflin cancel my book contract. Well, I was a year late on delivering a manuscript, so it was kind of my fault. But, you know.
Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, details. Boy, they're really going to regret that, though. Let me tell you, because this next book is a fucking winner. Now that I have time to write it. But
yeah, girl.
Like, I'm navigating this stuff at the exact same time everybody is. I'm figuring out the next chapter. I'm seeing patterns that everybody's seeing, because we're going to come out of this situation and everybody is going to be so much more accustomed to content online and taking classes online that there is nothing but opportunity. And people are going to need help reinventing themselves. And so I'm just going to, that's right. I just saw something. I'm going to just keep on going. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, figure it out as we take it day by day. And so I just think it's really exciting, everybody. As long as you can pay your bills and you got food and you got your health, please don't freaking waste this moment in time. Like, Suzy, you started out talking about the fact that we have been given a pause, whether you like it or not. So figure your shit out so you're not worried about where you're living and your health and your safety. And then take this moment in time and get those freaking poster note things up that Suzy's doing, and write down everything that you fear and everything you desire, and stay close to the two of us, and we'll keep you positive. And we're going through this together. But dear God, do not miss this opportunity.
No, it's an amazing, amazing opportunity. And I love that we've been through it enough where we have the muscle to be able to tell people this absolutely is an opportunity. You may not be able to see it. So I love that we've just exercised a muscle more, right? It's like we know this muscle. We've been through it quite a few times. I know I have. I'm going through some stuff too. While I have a lot of opportunities coming, my company lost millions of dollars the first quarter, you know, due to Corona, you know, and I just had to lay off 12 people the other day. I cried the night before. You know, I cried to my company telling them that we had to lay a few people off. And I mean, these moments are just like, bleh, you know. Thank God I haven't lost everyone in my life that I know is healthy, but you know, there are still things that are very real issues, but I also see it's a way for me to start doing business